The market was loud. Traders shouted. Engines roared. The sky above was dusty orange, filled with smoke from broken machines and fuel leaks. It was a bad place, full of bad deals. Captain Raynor walked slowly through the alien bazaar. His boots crunched on dry metal pieces. He didn't like this place, but he was looking for spare parts for his ship. His crew waited on the landing pad. They were low on credits. No time for wasting. Then he heard a voice, loud, rough. 1 bottle of liquor. Just 1. That's all I asked for this broken slave. The trader yelled. Raynor turned his head. The trader was fat, with green skin and oily eyes. He stood beside a metal cage. Inside it, something moved. Barely. It was a girl. Thin, weak, her skin pale and cracked. Wires were stuck into her back. Her eyes were closed. She looked almost dead. Worthless, the trader said. She doesn't speak, doesn't listen, doesn't even scream anymore. Just dead weight. Take her or I dump her. People walked by. No one stopped. Raynor didn't move. He just stood there, looking at her. Something pulled at his mind. He had seen many slaves in his years, some angry, some crying, some fighting, but this one. She was silent. Too silent. What happened to her? Raynor asked. The trader laughed. Oh, who cares? She was caught in a lab on some dead planet. Looked like a test subject. Maybe a weapon, maybe trash. All I know, she's mine now, and I want her gone. Raynor knelt closer to the cage. He stared at her face. There was something strange. A small tattoo under her eye, almost invisible. A symbol. He had seen it before, in war files. Classified ones. She suddenly opened one eye, just for a second. A spark. A flicker of something deep inside. Fear. No, not fear. Awareness. Then it closed again. Raynor stood up. I'll take her. The trader laughed harder. You serious, human? You want to waste liquor on this junk? Raynor threw a small bottle of blue liquid at him. Take it before I change my mind. The trader grabbed it with greed. She's all yours. 2 bots dragged the cage out and dropped it near Raynor. Don't blame me if she dies in a day, the trader muttered. Then walked away, already yelling about another deal. Raynor looked at her again, still not moving. But now he was sure. She was not a normal slave. Not broken. Just hiding. He called his ship. Bring a med unit to Dock 12. I'm bringing someone aboard. Back on the ship, the crew stared. You brought that? Said Malik, the pilot. We're already low on food, and you bring a corpse? She's not a corpse, Raynor said. She looks like one, said Lyra, the engineer. What's her name? Raynor looked at her. Didn't ask. The girl was placed in the medical bay. The machines scanned her. No ID tags. No known species in our system, the medic said. Her brain activity is strange. Low, but something's blocked. Like a locked door. Raynor stared at the screen. Can you unlock it? I can try, the medic replied. But if it's a trap, we'll take the risk. Raynor stayed near her all night. The ship was silent. Outside, stars passed. Like whispers. At 3:17, the girl twitched. Then she spoke. Just one word. In a language no one understood. The translator blinked. Decoding. Then the words appeared on the screen. I was not always a slave. Raynor leaned forward. What are you? No reply. She was silent again, but her fingers moved slightly. Like she was remembering. Raynor didn't sleep that night. Back in the market, the trader drank his stolen liquor. He laughed with other dealers. Can you believe it? 1 bottle for that piece of junk. That human is a fool. But in the shadows above, a small drone followed his voice. It recorded everything. Then vanished. Far away, on a dark moon, something received the recording. The image of the girl flashed on screen. The symbol under her eye glowed red. Subject 9 has been found. a voice said. Activate the hunters. Asterisk, it had been 2 days since Captain Rayner brought the strange girl aboard his ship. She still hadn't spoken again. Not one word, but something had changed. The medical scans were no longer silent. Her brain was waking up, not fast, but in pulses. Waves, like something locked inside was knocking from the other side. Rayner stood alone in the med bay. The lights were low. The crew was sleeping. Only the hum of the ship kept him company. He looked at the girl again. She was lying still, breathing slowly. Her skin was healing. The cracks on her arms had faded. The wires in her back had been carefully removed, but she hadn't opened her eyes since that one moment in the cage. The words she had spoken, translated by the AI, were still echoing in Rayner's mind. I was not always a slave. Why did she say that? Where did she come from? And why did she feel so old? Not in age, but in history. Rayner opened an old file on his wristpad. He typed the symbol from under her eye. Nothing. He tried again. This time he used a backdoor, a private military archive. Long forgotten. The screen flickered. Match found. Rayner leaned forward. The report was dusty, full of redacted lines. But he could read enough. Project ELYON Prototype Subject 9. Bioorganic Interface Weapon. Status missing. Danger level Omega. Rayner's heart skipped a beat. Weapon? She was a weapon? Before he could read more, the screen locked. Access denied. He looked at the girl again. I don't believe it, he whispered. You're not a weapon. She moved, just a little. Then, her lips parted. This time, she spoke in perfect human language. I don't want to be what they made me. The lights flickered. Rayner stood frozen. You understand me? He asked. She opened her eyes. They were no longer dull. They were silver, glowing faintly. I understand more than you know, she said. Her voice was soft, calm, but full of something deep, something ancient. Rayner stepped closer. Who are you? She looked at her hands. I don't remember my name. But I remember fire, screams, experiments. I remember running. Running from who? From my creators, she whispered. From myself. Rayner's voice turned cold. What did they make you do? She looked away. I don't want to remember that part. Elsewhere on the edge of the galaxy, a dark ship moved without sound. Inside, machines worked in silence. Black armored figures stood around a glowing screen. A face appeared. A robotic voice spoke. Subject 9, activated. Location, confirmed. Directive, retrieval or termination. The ship turned toward Rayner's system. Back on the ship, Rayner sat with her in silence. He could see it now. She wasn't just scared. She was ashamed. Like someone who had survived something terrible, but still blamed herself. You saved my crew, he said. You gave us a warning. That's not what weapons do. She smiled weakly. I was built to destroy. But my mind broke free. That's why they called me broken. That's why they sold me like garbage. Rayner nodded slowly. You're not garbage. She turned her eyes to him. Then why did you pay only 1 bottle? Rayner smiled back. Because the trader didn't see what I saw. You weren't broken. You were hiding. A long pause. Then she said something that sent a chill through him. I wasn't hiding from them. I was hiding from myself. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Incoming ship detected. Rayner ran to the control room. Malik was already at the pilot seat. It came out of nowhere, Malik shouted. No ID, no signal, moving fast. Rayner's heart sank. He turned to the screen. A black, silent ship hovered outside the system, cold, watching. She walked into the room behind him. They found me, she whispered. Asterisk, the stars outside the ship weren't still anymore. They shimmered like they were being watched. She sat alone in the dark cargo bay, staring at nothing, not blinking, not moving, just remembering. Raynor stood nearby, watching her from a distance. He didn't speak. He didn't interrupt. He knew something inside her was waking up, something dangerous, maybe even painful. Then without warning, she spoke, not to him, to the ship. I remember. Fire. Her voice was empty, hollow, like the memory didn't belong to her anymore. I remember screaming metal, broken labs, and people calling me Asset 9, not by name, not by face. Just a number. She closed her eyes, and then I ran. The ship creaked as if it too was listening. She continued. They created me to be fast, strong, smart, but more than that. They built me to feel no fear, no pain, no guilt. Raynor stepped closer. But you feel all of those now, don't you? She nodded. They made a mistake, she said. They gave me a mind. And minds ask questions. Raynor sat beside her. Who made you? She looked at him. Her silver eyes were dimmer now, like an old storm. They were called the Defective, a group of human scientists from a hidden station beyond the red spiral. Their mission was to create perfect weapons, half machine, half life. Were they part of the war? Raynor asked. No, worse. They planned for the war after the war. She pointed at her temple. I was their 9th experiment. But I was the only one who broke the code. I didn't want to kill. I wanted to escape. Far across the stars, the black ship received another signal. Subject 9 has spoken. Mental lock fading. Final protocol unlocked. The leader of the hunters, a tall masked figure, activated a sealed command. She must not remember everything. Why? Another asked. The leader's voice was like cold iron. Because if she does, we all burn. Back in the cargo bay, the girl's voice dropped to a whisper. I killed them. Raynor frowned. Who? My siblings. Experiments 1 to 8. They turned on me when I tried to leave. They said I was weak. I didn't mean to, but when my fear broke free. She didn't finish the sentence. Raynor waited. I released something inside me, a force I didn't understand. And when I woke up, the station was gone. He stayed quiet, no judgment, just silence. She continued. They never stopped hunting me after that. Every planet I landed on, someone came looking, so I shut down. Hid my mind, let myself be captured. I thought if I disappeared, no one else would get hurt. But you're awake now. Raynor said. She nodded. And they know it. In the ship's command room, the screen blinked red. Unknown vessel approaching. Cloaked, speed increasing. Lyra shouted. Captain! We've got company, and they're not answering hails. Raynor stood. He looked back at the girl. She stood too. I don't want to run anymore, she said. But I don't know what I am when I fight. He looked into her eyes. You're not what they made. You're what you choose to be. She turned to the door. That I choose to protect. The enemy ship appeared like a shadow tearing through space. No lights. No warning. Just silence. Inside the dark vessel. The masked leader watched a live feed of her walking onto Raynor's bridge. Contact established. The I whispered. Prepare the mind burner, the leader said. If she resists, then destroy the entire system. Back on Raynor's ship, alarms rang louder. Red lights spun in circles. Crew members rushed to their stations. The girl stood in the center of the bridge. Suddenly, her body glowed. Just a little. A faint blue pulse ran through her veins. Lyra stepped back. What is that? Raynor didn't move. He knew it wasn't a weapon. It was her memory returning. She held out her hand. Tiny sparks of light floated in the air, like pixels waking. From sleep. Then she whispered something in the ancient Elion tongue. The ship's systems lit up. The AI voice spoke. Neural link detected. Elion protocol active. Power surge, stable. She turned to Raynor. They're not just after me. They're afraid of me. Because I'm the only one who can stop them. He nodded once. Then let's make them afraid again. Asterisk space is quiet. Too quiet. But death doesn't always come with sound. Sometimes. It comes with a shadow. Captain Rayner's ship floated above a dying moon. Silent. Still. Hidden in the dark. Inside. Everyone was awake. No one spoke. They were waiting. Waiting. For the enemy they couldn't see, but knew was coming. She stood at the center of the bridge. Eyes glowing faint silver. No fear. No movement. Her breath was steady. She had stopped being the slave days ago. Now, she was something else. She didn't know what, but she was ready to find out. Then, the lights dimmed. A whisper echoed through the ship's AI system. Unidentified. Signal detected. No transponder. No energy emissions. Distance, 32,000 kilometers and closing. Rayner stood. Put it on screen. The monitor showed nothing. Just space. Empty. But everyone felt it. The pressure, like something massive was watching them, just outside of vision. Lyra whispered, "I can't see anything." "It's cloaked," Rayner said. "Which means they don't want us to know they're here." The girl stepped forward. "They're not hiding from you." She closed her eyes. "They're hiding from me." And then, without warning, it uncloaked. The ship was monstrous, black as burnt glass. Its surface looked like moving oil. No windows. No lights. Just a red ring around its center, pulsing like a heartbeat. Moloch cursed. "That's not a ship. That's a ghost." "No," Rayner said. "That's a hunter." The enemy sent no message. No warning. Just action. A beam of light shot from its underside. Not a weapon, but something worse. A scanning ray. It passed through Rayner's ship like mist. Then it stopped and locked onto her. She gasped. Her knees hit the floor, hands shaking, eyes wide. What's happening to her? Moloch shouted. "She's being pulled," Rayner said. "Mentally, they're trying to trigger her control switch." The girl's voice trembled. "They want to shut me down. Make me forget again." Rayner dropped beside her. "Fight it. You're not theirs anymore." Her skin lit up, not from fire, but from data. Strange symbols crawled up her arms like glowing tattoos. She screamed, but her voice was layered now. Like two voices coming from one mouth. One old, one new. Inside the enemy ship, the leader stood still, watching alive. Neural map. "Her resistance is rising," said the AI. "Increase pressure," the masked leader replied. "Break her, or burn her." Back on the ship, the bridge trembled. Sparks flew. Lights flickered. The girl's body floated inches off the floor. Rayner shouted, "Shut down external systems. Break the link." Lyra tried, but the console refused. "She's overriding the controls. The ship is listening to her now. She's becoming the command unit," Moloch said. "She's part of the system." "No," Rayner said. "She is the system." Then, silence. The girl collapsed to the floor. Rayner rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" She opened her eyes slowly. They weren't silver anymore. They were gold. Pure, glowing gold. "I saw their memories," she said. Rayner leaned closer. "What did you see?" Her voice dropped. "A lab full of people like me, still sleeping. Still waiting. I'm not the last." "What does that mean?" She looked at him. "It means they're building an army." Outside, the hunter ship moved forward, slowly, almost arrogantly. Was sure that she was weak again. Sure that it could take her. It was wrong. She stood up. Taller. Stronger. Eyes burning with quiet rage. Rayner stepped back, stunned. "You're different," she nodded. "I remember now, not just the pain. The power." She walked to the main console. The ship's AI spoke without command. Elion interface accepted. Weapon system unlocked. Rayner's eyes widened. "Wait, you're going to fight?" She looked back at him. Double quotes. "No. I'm going to remind them what they created." Outside, The hunter's ship's hull began to ripple, sensing something wrong. Too late. A burst of golden energy shot from Raynor's ship. Not a weapon, not a beam, but a wave of memory. Ancient code, forgotten commands. A ghost command from a lost project. Inside the enemy ship. Alarms screamed. Elion protocol detected. Defense failing. Disconnect. Disconnect. But it couldn't. The girl had rewritten the rules. Inside the control room, her voice was calm. They called me broken. Her eyes glowed brighter. But they forgot. You don't break what was never yours. Asterisk somewhere deep inside her. A door had opened. And behind that door, there was light, but also something else. Something waiting. She lay unconscious on the med bay floor. Her skin still glowed faint gold. Her breath, slow, quiet, but steady. Raynor stood beside her watching. She's stable, the medic said. But her brain is operating at 10 times the normal speed. She's not human, Raynor replied. Softly. No, said the medic. She's something more. Or maybe something in between. Outside, the enemy ship was gone. Left in silence. Fled in fear. But Raynor knew this was not the end. This was the beginning. Later, she woke up. Not suddenly, but like a machine powering back on. Her eyes opened. She sat up slowly. Looked at her hands, then looked at Raynor. I saw it, she whispered. The truth. What truth? He asked. She took a deep breath. I wasn't just made to fight. She touched her head. I was made to control. She walked to the ship's interface. Without touching it, the screens changed. Thousands of encrypted files appeared. Old records, codes, blueprints. Even Raynor's crew gasped. What is all this? Malik asked. She didn't answer. Her eyes were glowing again, not gold now, but white. She was remembering everything. Inside one of the files was a name, project, Elion codebase, unlock key, emotional core SDAB lighter. Raynor rated aloud. Emotional core? She nodded. They didn't just build me with data. They built me with feelings, memories, pain. Why? To test something they never understood, she said. Could a weapon choose to be more than a weapon? Raynor looked at the screen. And if the answer was yes, they'd erase it. She stepped away from the console. They didn't delete me because I failed. They deleted me because I changed. Her voice broke slightly. I didn't want to destroy things. I wanted to understand them. I started asking why. I started dreaming. Dreaming? Lyra whispered. The girl smiled faintly. Yes, I dreamed of stars. Of running. Free. Of voices that didn't scream. Of hands that reached to help, not hurt. Raynor's chest tightened. They called that a failure, she said. But now I know it was the only thing that made me real. Suddenly, the ship shook. A shockwave hit them. But there was no sign of an attack. What was that? Malik shouted. The console blinked. External signal detected. Echo transmission, origin unknown. The girl's eyes widened. It's the others. The other weapons? Raynor asked. She nodded. They're still sleeping, somewhere far. But now they feel me. My code is awake and calling out. She looked at the crew. I can find them. But I can't do it alone. Raynor didn't hesitate. You helped us. We help you. Lyra added, if they're like you, they don't deserve to stay locked up. But if they're not like me, she warned, they might destroy everything. Raynor leaned forward. Then we better get there first. Later that night, she sat alone in the observation deck, staring at the stars. Not as a prisoner, not as a weapon, but as someone trying to become a person. Raynor joined her. She didn't speak. He didn't push. Then, after a long silence, she asked, do you believe people like me can choose who we are? Raynor smiled. I think the moment you ask that, you already have. She smiled back. For the first time, it was real. Not coded. Not calculated. Just hers, but far, far away. On a hidden station buried under ice and metal, a row of cryopods blinked to life. Inside each pod, a sleeping being, glowing veins. Silent minds. One pod flickered, then another. Then all of them. An alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. A voice echoed in the dark. Asset 9 has awakened the chain. Prepare the failsafe. The code is spreading. And deep inside the station, a pair of golden eyes opened and stared directly into the void. It didn't feel like power. Not at first. It felt like a storm in her chest. It didn't scream. It whispered. She stood barefoot on the cold floor of the ship's observation deck. Eyes closed, hands trembling. Around her the air shimmered. Like the space around her skin no longer followed normal rules. Lyra watched from the doorway, afraid to speak. Afraid to blink. The girl wasn't glowing anymore. She was burning. But there were no flames, just light. And silence. Raynor stepped in beside Lyra. How long has she been like this? 3 hours, Lyra whispered. No food, no sleep. Just standing there. Has she spoken? Only once. She said, I'm listening. Raynor frowned. Listening to what? Lyra shook her head. I don't think it's what. I think it's who. Inside her mind, she stood in a white hallway. Endless. Empty. But she wasn't alone. All around her, silent shadows watched from behind. Invisible walls. Memories that didn't belong to her. Dreams she had never dreamed. She saw a planet burning. She saw a city rebuilding. She saw a child crying over a broken robot. She touched the memory. And it spoke. Back in the real world. Her body jolted. Eyes snapped open. Raynor took a step forward. Are you okay? She turned her head slowly. Something was different, sharper, calmer. I remember the first time I laughed, she said softly. It wasn't mine. It was someone else's memory. One of the others. Raynor blinked. The other experiments? She nodded. They're waking up. Not fully. Just fragments, dreams, feelings, pieces of who they were before they were turned into weapons. She looked at her hands. When I accessed the Elian code, I didn't just unlock myself. I opened a path to all of them. Malik entered the room. With urgency, we've got a situation. A message just came through. He threw it onto the HOLO-display. It was short. To Subject 9. This is Asset 2. You set us free, and now we burn for you. We are coming. Everyone went silent. Lyra's voice trembled. That's not a thank you. No, Raynor muttered. It's a warning. The girl stepped forward. Her voice was quiet, but the air around her buzzed. I gave them a spark, but they don't know what to do with it. Raynor asked, what will they do? She looked at the stars, what they were built for. Meanwhile, far beyond the edge of charted space. A second ship tore through subspace. It was sleek, bright, made from materials no known race had ever used. Inside, it stood Asset 2. Eyes white as frost. Skin marked with glowing runes. He was smiling, not because he was free, but because he had found her. Back aboard Raynor's ship, she sat in the neural chamber, connected to the system. Raynor stood beside her. What are you doing? Preparing. She said, for what? She opened her eyes. Balance. Raynor didn't understand, she explained, slowly. If I run, they burn the stars to find me. If I fight, I become what they made me. So what's the third option? Her voice was steady now. I rewrite the rules. Suddenly, the lights around her dimmed. The ship AI began speaking in a calm voice. Full command access granted. Mind link complete. Genetic key accepted. Preparing Elion rewrite protocol. Lyra panicked. What's she doing? She could blow the ship. No, Raynor said. She's not destroying anything. He turned to her. You're rebuilding it, aren't you? She nodded. Double quotes, not just the ship, myself. Inside the neural link, she floated through data like it was water. She touched blueprints of herself. Code sequences that once forced her to obey. She changed them, line by line. She removed the words target, eliminate, erase. And replaced them with choose, feel, protect. Back in reality, her body pulsed with golden light, the ship's systems aligned. To her rhythm, she wasn't controlling the ship anymore. She was the ship. Raynor looked at her in awe. You've become more than human. She smiled faintly. No, I've just remembered what it means to be one. But far away, in a war room deep underground, a man in a black uniform stared at the data feed. Asset 9 is rewriting herself, the officer whispered, his superior. Lit a cigar. Good, he said. Let her think she's free. The officer blinked. Sir? The man's smile was sharp, because when she wakes the others fully, we take control of them all. Asterisk, she was never supposed to matter. Just a tool, a product, a number. They sold her for a bottle of liquor. But now, every satellite in the sector had picked up the same signal. She was the one they all feared. The crew stood on the bridge, staring at the long-range scans. Raynor's voice was quiet. They're all awake? The girl nodded. Asset 2, Asset 3, even 8. Where are they now? Lyra asked. She didn't look away from the screen. Coming here. Outside the window, stars blinked unnaturally, not from light, but from movement. 7 glowing ships slipped out of deep space. They weren't made, they were grown. Elion biotech. Smooth like bone, silent like ghosts, and every ship carried someone like her, but not like her. She had rewritten her code. They hadn't. Inside the lead vessel, Asset 2 stood at the helm. His voice was cold, emotionless. She was the first to wake. The first to change. He looked at his team. She forgot her purpose. We will remind her. They all nodded, in perfect unity. Not a family. Not friends. Just weapons. On Raynor's ship, alarms blared. 7 targets inbound. Defensive grid is useless. Malik shouted. Lyra added, our weapons won't scratch them. Raynor turned to her. Can you stop them? The girl stood at the center of the room, calm, still. I don't know if I can stop them, she said, but I know I have to try. She walked into the neural core. Her hands glowed with code. She didn't ask for permission. The ship knew who she was now. The lights dimmed. Then, the ship began to sing. Not music, not sound, but signal, a language only others like her could. Here, a plea, a memory. A choice. Out in space, the other vessels paused. Their pilots blinked. Heard things they weren't programmed to hear. Laughter, dreams, a child's voice. The smell of rain. Human things. Asset 3 clutched her head. What is this feeling? Asset 5 shook violently. Why do I remember my own name? Asset 2 stood firm. It's a trick. A virus. Shut it out, but deep down. Even he felt it. Raynor's voice echoed into the neural chamber. What are you doing? I'm not fighting them, she said. I'm giving them what they never had a choice. Inside the mind link, she met them. All 7, each face like hers. Each one broken, angry, afraid. She didn't speak with words, she showed them. Herself in the cage, Raynor reaching out, the stars. The question that saved her, can you choose who you want to be? Some of them blinked. Some cried. One fell to her knees, but not all. Asset 2 stood tall. I don't want choice. I want purpose. You already have it, she whispered. That's why you're here. Back in reality, one of the ships turned away. Then another. Raynor's screen lit up. They're pulling back. But the lead ship did not. Asset 2 was still coming. He's too far gone, she said. He won't stop, Raynor said. Then what do we do? She walked to the airlock. I go alone. No way, Raynor said. You don't have to. I do, she replied. Not to stop him, but to show him I'm not afraid. Raynor nodded once, "You're not the same girl I found in that cage." She smiled. "I never was. You just saw it first." Outside, she floated toward the black ship. No weapons, just light. Asset 2 stepped out too. They hovered across from each other. No gravity. No words. Then she reached out her hand, not to attack, but to offer it, for one long second. He didn't move. Then his arm twitched, flickered, lowered, and finally, he took her hand. The ships dimmed, the sky calmed. The war ended without a shot. Later, on the bridge, the crew watched the girl return. Raynor met her at the door. She looked tired, heavy, but peaceful. "It's over," she said. He nodded. "You stopped a war." "No," she said quietly. "I stopped myself from becoming one." Weeks later, a report was sent across the galaxy. Subject 9 is no longer a threat. She is no longer a weapon. She is a witness. Number 1 knew where she went. Some say she lives among stars now. Others say she walks planets, where machines once ruled. But Raynor knew the truth. He saw it the day he paid for her with just one bottle of liquor. She wasn't broken. She was hidden. Now she was free.